what are some of the cultural practices that are uniquely Chamorro? Is that what it?
Sure.
Okay, I'm American too, and I brush my teeth and I wash my face. But some of the cultural practices that I partake in is taking care of the children in my family and taking care of the elders in my family and making sure that they're nourished and fed and comfortable, and really making sure everyone in my family is happy. Just recently, my sisters had altercations with each other, and I was the one to kind of group hug everybody. You know, just trying to bring peace and keep balance in my family and with the health of my family. Women in Chamorro society play a very central role in the way that we organize our communities, in the ways that we, historically, we come from a matrilineal culture, so land and inheritance was passed through the woman, and women kind of maintain social connections between clans, between families, and they were also, as far as day-to-day work, they really took care of the children. They were probably weavers and probably the people making the pots and the people cooking. I'm not so sure about fishing or hunting. I'm sure that was men's roles, but women did a lot of that sort of in the home, between clanal work of maintaining connections. And I think a lot of that is still translated through today, even though women take a huge active role in the church, in the Catholic Church, which is a really male-dominated place. But since Catholicism is so important to us, women have all been able to insert a role for ourselves, either it being the tetza or being the people who organize the fiestas, and have taken an active role in perpetuating the faith through our families by doing the home novenas and stuff. So we've been able to translate that sort of power through time and through different colonial experiences. And that's always been the role for Chamorro women, to protect our culture, our language, and protect the land and perpetuate who we are and our own beliefs here. And it's more and more difficult with modernization and Americanization, but we still navigate and still take that responsibility seriously. One being through education. Chamorro women by far do better than Chamorro men in education, and we make it a point to come back and teach our next generations more about our experiences. In many ways, through Westernization and through the Western lens, women have become oppressed, because when you look at it from an outsider's perspective, women don't take on a lot of political roles. We've never had a female governor, or a lot of our elected officials aren't women, and a lot of the people that run government agencies aren't women. But just because we have a male head of state doesn't mean that the neck, the arms, the hands of this thing that's running, that is a modern society, aren't run by women. That the femininity there is a necessary balance that needs to be brought into the world with feminine energy, because our world has been so blood crazy, money crazy, greed and dominance have been kind of running this hamster wheel that is our society for the past, I don't know, couple thousand years, and it's been spreading like crazy with colonization in the whole world in the last 500 years. And I think that's been really male energy dominated, and I think I definitely support the women's honoring our femininity and kind of demanding and bringing a balance to that energy, and bringing a real shift in kind of honoring both ways. I mean, women are more inclined to peacemaking, are more inclined to trying to bring harmony and trying to really care for one another and care for our planet, and those are definite things that we need to be doing and supporting right now. So yeah, in that sort of sense, I am a feminist. I really do see the need for the power of the woman to be coming to the forefront.
So my name is Colleen Clarkson. My maiden names are Santos and Kolbach. I'm 21. My mother is from Koror and my father is from Irai.
Wow. Are there any customs or traditions in your culture in Palau that are specific to women?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind, I would say, is the hot shower, or in Palau we would call it. There's two types. There's an omangat and there's a ngas. It's two different types of ceremonies, but it's the same. Hot shower is basically when a woman has her first child. Then right after her firstborn, she has to go through the certain amount of days, depending on your family or your clan. And then after those certain amount of days, she comes out and she's in this certain attire. Every family has their own, I guess you could say, skirts, and it's usually made out of yarn. And then in Palau, you're actually supposed to go topless coming out, but of course here we come out covering our tops.
So this hot shower, that was performed here in Guam?
Mine was, yes.
Oh, okay. What are some other roles that are specific to women in Palauan culture that are expected of women to perform and to do?
Okay, there's, let me think. Well, there is the, should I talk about the funeral? There's the funeral obligations. Okay, so the way Palauans conduct their funerals, it's a lot different than, how it usually is. And the women are the ones who are working. But at the same time, it's not the immediate family who's working. So, for example, recently my grandfather passed away. It was like I couldn't do anything because I'm the grandchild, and his children couldn't do anything. Instead, his sister and their family, or even the in-laws, like my mother, because she's married to my father. And that was my dad's dad. And so she's the one who had to do the groundwork. It was other people, and it's usually the women. They're the ones who make the foods. They serve the people. They would serve us. So.
Would you say that Palauan women are very much respected in Palau?
I believe so, but it's more of the way I see it, it's women are highly respected, and they're given the same respect as you would give a male as in other societies, as far as serving him and whatnot. But at the same time, I feel like that respect comes out because the women actually do way more than the men. There's, for example, the queen. The queen of Palau, she doesn't just sit on her throne and say, you do this, you do this, you do this. She actually has to go out and help, the people. She always has to have something to do. She has to be on her hands and knees working. That's how it looks. And then that's why I feel like that's the reason why we give her so much respect, or give women so much respect, is because all of the things that they have to do.
Would you say that living here in Guam, which has very much been Americanized over the years, would you say that it's difficult to practice your Palauan culture?
Personally, I'm gonna say no, because say my necklace, for instance, it's very subtle, so it's not something where you can spot from afar. But at the same time, if I run into somebody and they look at my neck and they know what this is, they'd be like, oh, she's...
Returning to the land, I like to be at my family's land up north at Anapsan, and I collect the coconuts up there and make coconut oil, and that is my joy these days. Most prominent joy, we think, in terms of physically creating culture. Live it, create. Coconut oil is one example. Carving, jewelry from shells. There are so many ways to create and keep our culture. It's just a matter of choosing what we love. So, what do you love when you wake up in the morning? What is your love of the day? Do you want that love to be spending time with children? If so, then there's one door to perpetuate our culture? What, in spending our time with children, what do we teach them? What do we show them? How do we speak with them? What values do we impart? Do we speak to them in the language? Right? Those are all the ways that they can pick up, and then that perpetuates the culture. The role that I see women play in our islands is that of mother, of sister, of daughter, and of granddaughter. And in all of these different roles that we enter throughout our life, the underlying theme is giving care. Giving care to our children, giving care to our siblings, giving care to our parents, our elders. From a Western lens, I think things definitely depend on where we stand and where we place ourselves to view things. And the best way to view something is to see it in the panorama, perhaps. I don't know, maybe the close-up's good too. But do I see our role as being oppressive or oppressed? No. I actually feel very lucky to be a Native woman from these islands, a Native woman whose ancestry is from here, where the woman's role is prominent. You know, women are, in one essence, honored. Our place is honored still, despite all that we've gone through, of the colonialism, the violence. I consider myself a womanist because it's perhaps more inclusive of the hardships that women of color have had to face in this movement of women, right? So, a womanist, a feminist, indigenous. I suppose I consider myself all of those things. Maybe perhaps indigenous first, womanist after, feminist after.
Lagna puti unta sitat salani bakokusu unmot nagitano huza unfatula laksi